Gibran nailed this one. He's not just talking about work. He's talking about devotion while working. You could be like weaving a cloth, laying bricks, planting seeds in your garden, but it's how you do it. It's not the action of doing it. It's how you do it. You could be on stage in a band,
Okay.
right? But it's how you do it. You could be making a flower garland. You could be leading a kirtan,
But it's how you're doing it.
but it's how you do it. So that's yoga. Then that offering to your beloved while you're doing it, right? If I say, come over, we're having a savor retreat, and we all do everything within that savor retreat. The fence gets built, the hole gets dug, the wood gets split. If the consciousness is not there, we throw this word around a lot in contemporary culture, mindfulness.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just splitting the wood mindfully.
Okay.
Now I'm going to split it. I'm going to split it right in the middle.
Okay.
Dead in the center. Not just whip my axe at this thing. Right in. No. I am doing this as an offer. What's the point of mindfulness?
Right.
It's a beautiful offering to my beloved. The splitting of the wood or the burning of the brush or the building of the fence should make us feel like I'm doing this for Krishna. The making of the oatmeal, right? The handing someone a drink, a cup of tea, right? The making of a guest's bed, the doing of the podcast, the leading of the kirtan. The leading of the kirtan and everybody clapping and loving the kirtan shouldn't make me feel like, yeah, me. It should be like, oh, Krishna, I'm doing this for you as a sweet offering. I should get as much joy of it if I'm just singing alone, or if I'm singing two people are there, or if I'm off key, or if my harmonium's not even working well. But my heart is as a genuine offering. That's the mindfulness we're looking for in Bhakti.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Live from Super Soul Farm, this is Wisdom of the Sages, the daily spiritual podcast with your host, Raghunath, and co-host and senior educator at the Bhakti Center in New York, Kaustubha. Today is Wednesday, June 26, 2025. This is episode 1635. Welcome to the show. And if you're watching live here, you see we have the light of our life. Radhanath Swami is here with us in the studio, in our home. Harry Bull, we just had an incredibly wonderful, beautiful, auspicious initiation ceremony. Maharaj, we're so honored to have you here. Can you please say something for our listeners? You got to put your face right on this mic to make it work.
Thank you, Raghunath. Thank you, Kaustubha Prabhus. I came just to extend my gratitude to both of you for enlightening the planet in such wonderful ways with your wisdom, with your devotion, with your compassion. And I want to offer my gratitude to all the listeners and participants of Wisdom of the Sages, just to express my appreciation for your good fortune, your sincerity, and my prayers that our beloved Lord Krishna's love and compassion shower upon all of you and your families. And it is certainly manifesting through Raghunath Prabhu and Kaustubha Prabhu's deep insights into the true spirit of bhakti and life. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. And if you were wondering if you were going to have a good day or not, today is going to be a great day. Thank you, Maharaj, for being here.
Thank you for your kind words, Maharaj.
And you are welcome to be part of this rest of the show. If you'd like to be, you can stay right here. And you can do your comments on the commentary. We're in the 10th canto, 3rd chapter. Krishna is revealing himself to Devaki.
I will be very happy to sit as one of your students today.
Ouch. Krishna.
We won't see it that way, Maharaj, but we'll be very happy to have you here. Hare Krishna. Oh, what a wonderful evening last night
What a
was.
great evening. We have beautiful devotees that we all love. Brooke got the very beautiful name.
Yamuna Leela.
Yamuna Leela. That was good. Then there's Happy Jack,
Yes.
who we love. He got the beautiful name
Rasananda.
Rasananda, a beautiful name. And then Pope Pius, with already had a very pious name,
Yes.
and Madhuri Gopi.
Madhuri
Madhuri
Gopi.
Gopi. Beautiful
Very
name.
Sweet name now.
Very sweet name.
Also pious, but sweet and pious.
Yes. And then Stromboli got the name Stromboli Gopi.
No, that's further down the road.
That's further down the road. And then comes Cannoli Gopi. And then Rigatoni Gopi. Hey,
No, we have a Kishori Gopi and a Madhuri Gopi.
Madhuri Gopi. That's great.
Yes.
And finally, our good friend, very good friend, Lex, because of his dharmic nature and his service attitude, he got the very beautiful name Lakshman.
Lakshman Das.
It's a beautiful name.
All four wonderful people.
Yeah.
You could just feel it last night, just looking at them all sitting there together. These are four people whose lives have been touched and whose hearts are very soft and open and just wonderful, qualified disciples.
It was a very emotional night, I found, for
Yeah.
myself too. I couldn't stop crying. I was like, I don't even know why I'm crying, but I'm just crying. It was yeah. I think just because I've known them for so long and I've known their ups and downs in their life and twists and turns, yet they still kept on leaning into light. You know, when the world makes a mess of our life, sometimes we choose to make a bigger mess of it.
True.
Like we react by making it messier.
Yep.
And these are people who repeatedly just said, okay, this is happening. I'm just going to lean deeper into Krishna. This is happening. Okay. I'm going to lean deeper into Krishna. The worst we can do is make a bad choice from a bad instance. And then sometimes from that bad choice, we make another bad choice. And it just snowballs out of control until my life just becomes a whole mess of bad choices.
You know, difficult things happen to us in our life, reversals, struggles, and we can interpret them in two ways. It can break for some people, it breaks their faith in God. It breaks their faith that this world is something that's good. It breaks their faith, or it can break your faith that this material world is actually your real home. Right? It can break your faith that I will find true lasting meaning and happiness through material endeavors. And when someone sees it that way, then all the suffering that they're going through actually becomes a great blessing. And you could see, I agree with you, you could see it in the lives of those four last night.
My sort of like subtitle of my life as a teenager was, you got to have a positive outlook. You got to see the good in things. You got to, and I sort of fancied myself a very positive guy. But
matter of fact, you even called it, what your crew was called something like that.
we had a song called Positive Outlook, and I don't know. Anyway, my point is that I never liked cynics and naysayers and fault finders. It drove me a little crazy. But as I step more into a spiritual practice, I become a cynic of materialism.
That's a healthy thing.
It's a healthy cynicism does have a place. You have to become cynical that you can fulfill all your material dreams in a temporary world.
Right.
You have to, and understanding that it's not a bad cynicism. I still a very positive person in a lot of ways, and I think part of being a devotee is to see the good in people, and to see the best in people, see them in their highest incarnation of themselves. But be cynical of the things that the material world, Maya, advertisements are trying to sell us as this will fulfill all your desires.
Right.
No, it's not gonna. Our desires come fulfilled when the God-shaped hole in our heart, that puzzle piece is God that fits in that hole.
Yeah.
And nothing else.
Yeah. There's two messages out there, right? One is saying it may not say it in these words, but if you look behind the words, you'll see it's saying by becoming more selfish, you'll become more happy. That's like one message that's out there in the world. And you
It's
can see it in the advertising. You can see it in a lot of the messaging out there. You can see it in a lot of the self-help gurus and things like that. And then there's another message: by becoming selfless, you'll become happy.
how can that be?
It's
Why would I want to be
counterintuitive.
selfless?
But
Why
yeah.
why don't I want to establish myself then and walk in with all my pride and confidence? Yeah.
It doesn't work.
All right.
All right.
You're number one. You got to take care of number one. No.
But we haven't brought in Mara yet.
Mara.
Come on over here.
Mara. I just want to give a shout out to Mara yesterday.
Cooking for everyone.
Cooking for everybody all day long. And then the whole beginning of the ceremony, she's like, you know what? I'm okay, but I'm just going to leave now and just clean. And so she went in.
Mara.
Yeah.
I know that behind the scenes, the stuff that you're
She's
doing.
like, no, I like it. It's good. And so she just went in the kitchen before anyone came back up because it was a great feast. Everybody enjoyed the feast. And thank you for your service. And you got back right in time for the name givings.
Thank you. Bunky also helped a lot too, and he's missing the show right now to be making everybody breakfast.
Yeah. It was like, that was our crew. It was me, Bunky, and Mara. And when I say me, I meant me like walking around, bumping into things.
But do you see how Mara just diverted it? She said, "Oh, don't Bunky." Right.
That's the sign of the Vaishnav. The Vaishnavs don't like to hold on to credit. They like to pass the credit on.
Also, shout out to the whole Vermont Sangha.
Did it again.
She did it again.
Showed up with all the desserts because there were some amazing desserts that really made the feast.
Very good.
Because I just did some simple prasad.
Yeah, the
So-
Vermont Sangha, the Bright Light of Vermont, Kishori Gopi, Srinivas, our good
Yeah.
friend, and the entire crew just brought flowers. brought-
Cupcakes,
Oh, that's what they're.
cookies, garlands. Yeah.
Leanne Carp made all the garlands. It was beautiful.
Yeah.
Super nice. We got good people in our life. That's a
Great people.
reoccurring statement flowing out of my mouth. I got good people in my life.
Mm.
And that's part of having a good life, I think. Right?
Yeah.
Which brings me to my announcement. If you need
Yeah.
more good people in your life,
Yeah, I do need
Sage
more
group
good people.
signups begin this Saturday.
Okay.
What?
So yeah,
What does it cost to join a Sage group? I'll pay anything.
it's completely free.
What?
So that's at 9 a.m. on Saturday. Online at wisdomofthesages.com. Go to Sage Groups. If you want to get in the group of your choice, it pays to sign up early because those groups fill up fast. Very fast, actually. Like it jumps to like 80% full, like just within the first couple of days or something like that. Yeah. So you want to get in early. And if then you have trouble, then let us know and we'll try to make things work. But getting in early pays off. Anything else?
No, do you want me to stay for the nugget?
Oh yeah, yeah. You
Yes,
really
yes,
did know
yes. You are Nugget Davy.
All right. Today's nugget comes from Khalil Gibran, from the Prophet. And what is it to work with love?
Maybe I'll give a little context here, because the Prophet is this book that's very popular book, so many people know this, but it's about this kind of like a sage who was living in one land, and he had been living there for a long time. And the book opens up; it's the day that he's going to leave that place, and leave it forever, go back to where he was from originally, and all of the people from his village or from his place, they all are well, they're going to miss him when he goes. And so they all come and they know that this is their last chance to speak with him. And they all present these kind of very broad questions about the human condition. You know, what is love? Tell us about raising children. Tell us about money. And he's sharing all these insights. And so this was, here the question was, he was asked about what it means to work with love. So he's going to share his insights on that.
Are there people in the waiting room?
No.
Okay.
Can I?
Memorized it. You
Well-
have to see
Oh. Sorry about that.
Share it on mine if you want.
Someone said there's people in the waiting room.
Mm.
Now I'm lost.
All right, 1 moment, please. Okay. What is it to work with love? It is to weave the cloth with threads drawn from your heart, even as if your beloved were to wear that cloth. It is to build a house with affection, even as if your beloved were to dwell in that house. It is to sow seeds with tenderness and reap the harvest with joy, even as if your beloved were to eat the fruit. It is to charge all things you fashion with the breath of your own spirit, and to know that all the blessed dead are standing about you and watching.
Okay.
Nice, nice, nice. Gibran nailed this one. He's not just talking about work. He's talking about devotion while working. You could be like weaving a cloth, laying bricks, planting seeds in your garden, but it's how you do it. It's not the action of doing it. It's how you do it. You could be on stage in a band,
Okay.
right? But it's how you do it. You could be making a flower garland. You could be leading a kirtan,
But it's how you're doing it.
but it's how you do it. So that's yoga. Then that offering to your beloved while you're doing it, right? If I say, come over, we're having a savor retreat, and we all do everything within that savor retreat. The fence gets built, the hole gets dug, the wood gets split. If the consciousness is not there, we throw this word around a lot in contemporary culture, mindfulness.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just splitting the wood mindfully.
Okay.
Now I'm going to split it. I'm going to split it right in the middle.
Okay.
Dead in the center. Not just whip my axe at this thing. Right in. No. I am doing this as an offer. What's the point of mindfulness?
Right.
It's a beautiful offering to my beloved. The splitting of the wood or the burning of the brush or the building of the fence should make us feel like I'm doing this for Krishna. The making of the oatmeal, right? The handing someone a drink, a cup of tea, right? The making of a guest's bed, the doing of the podcast, the leading of the kirtan. The leading of the kirtan and everybody clapping and loving the kirtan shouldn't make me feel like, yeah, me. It should be like, oh, Krishna, I'm doing this for you as a sweet offering. I should get as much joy of it if I'm just singing alone, or if I'm singing two people are there, or if I'm off key, or if my harmonium's not even working well. But my heart is as a genuine offering. That's the mindfulness we're looking for in Bhakti. What do you think about that?
I agree with you 100%. I think that's a beautiful insight, Raghunath. And I think Khalil Gibran, he understands something here. It seems that he really gets something. That what we're reading in Bhagavatam right now about how Krishna's mother and father, right? He just appeared, and it's a pretty far out scene because he's telling them their past life regression, right? I can tell you about your past life and why I became your son. And he's saying that in a previous age, you and your husband were also husband and wife back then, and you were like these intense yogis, but not just like tapasvis, right? Like
giving up everything,
giving up eating, giving
up eating.
Right? Yeah. He says you're living off air, right? You're doing all this kind of pranayama, you're doing all this breath control. He said if you were eating anything, it was just like these dried leaves and stuff like that, right? And he said you did it for like 12,000 celestial years.
I'm just trying to picture eating dried leaves. Like, first, I grew up in Connecticut. I know what a dried leaf is. Every autumn, we get a whole pile of dried leaves. We're raking dried leaves. It's like, okay, that's all you get to eat. Otherwise, you're good.
But he's saying you were not only yogis, you were like these incredibly accomplished yogis. And he was saying through that austerity, your mind became purified. So he's showing their past as yogis, but he's also going to say, but it wasn't just that you're yogis, you were meditating on me all along. The Bhakti yoga is what Krishna calls the confidential teachings of Vedanta, right? And it's like, it's not just to clean the slate, right? You can perform austerities, you can do asanas, you can chant mantras, and you can do it to kind of free yourself of anxiety, to kind of remove yourself from all the entanglements of the material world and find peace. And that's, in one sense, impressive. But Krishna is going to say, that doesn't touch me at all, right? What touches, he'll say, you can make an offering to me, but when it's done with bhakti, when the same action is infused with this magic ingredient, right? The ingredient is devotion, and the object of that devotion is Krishna. And when that factor enters into whatever you do in life, it's like magic. It completely transforms it because it's bringing you back to who you really are. It's not only getting rid of all of your misconceptions of who you are, but it's actually establishing you in the truth of who you are, which is, what are we underneath it all? we're made to love. We're made to serve selflessly. And there's a root to all that existence, that when you connect with that root, you connect with everything.
Mm.
And so that becomes the magic ingredient. And we'll see throughout the book. It really comes out in the Bhagavad Gita, right? Where it wasn't there in the teachings, the Upanishads, it becomes abundantly clear. Where Krishna says, even to Arjuna, what is it? Mam anusmara yudhyacha. You have a battle to fight, but do it thinking of me. Do it infused. Do it. Sometimes you see like these films about war, and like like Braveheart or something like that.
Yeah, it's a good one.
and,
Yeah.
and like there's always all these warriors, and they're fearful. They're about to go into this battle. They know it's likely they're going to die.
Yeah.
And there has to be a leader that convinces them that even if you die, it's all right. But what are you dying for? Think of your wives and think of your children, and think, and if we die, we're dying for them. And so that they fight and fuse with these.
Something bigger than themselves.
Yeah.
Right.
And Krishna's telling Arjuna, fight and think of me.
Mm.
And that changes the entire nature of the activity. It doesn't just get you good karma. It doesn't just give you some temporary result in this world, but it actually restores you to who you really are, connects you with yourself.
It's interesting because as Kali Yuga progresses, even in my short lifespan, you went from, hey, mom made us breakfast. There's a loving personality behind breakfast.
Okay.
And it slowly goes to, mom laid out some hostess treats for us. Okay. We're taking it down a notch. Okay. To like, I'm grabbing a bar. To I'm having a protein shake. To I'm stopping at Dunkin' Donuts and getting a McMuffin or whatever. The idea is like there's less.
Dunkin' Donuts doesn't do McMuffin.
Yeah, they don't. Okay. How do you know their menu so well? But it's one of those things like it becomes less and less. Now some man who's got completely bad habits doesn't even like working there,
Right.
is assembling the food that I'm eating and handing to me while I'm driving through.
With
And
a mind full of who knows what.
who knows what type of hell he's thinking of while he's putting that egg on the meat and the Canadian bacon and the white bread bun,
Yeah.
and throwing it through the little
Oh my
window.
God, it sounds so unappetizing.
They should do an ad for Dunkin' Donuts. But the point being is we've cut out personality, we've cut out love, and we sort of cut out God from the whole picture as well.
Yeah.
And what I think the Bhagavatam is trying to infuse in this very dark time is to shine light and to bring a little bit more love, a little bit more personalism, a little bit more magic in our life.
Yeah. Well, we're going to hear it now. A lot of the whole purpose to Vyas composing the Bhagavatam was to kind of clear up all his teachings. And then we get a story like this. This is the 10th canto. This is what he's been preparing for us to hear.
Mm.
And it's right at the beginning of it. And he's saying, now Krishna's born. And now Krishna speaks.
Mm.
Right? This is the first time we're getting to hear Krishna speak. And he's talking to his parents. And he's saying, I became your son because you were great yogis. But you weren't just great yogis. You were great yogis that were meditating on me with love. And it's kind of like the idea is that there's an ecstasy, the happiness that we're all looking for in everything external. There's an ecstasy in loving Krishna. There's something there that is so far beyond the idea of like finding peace through release, through like moksha, that when you experience that love, even the accomplishments of these great yogis to achieve peace seems totally hollow. Totally, something's missing.
Speck.
Yeah. And so the sages, they said that the bliss that you experience in moksha, in just like kind of this, what they would consider to be like a neutral state, is like a drop. It's like a drop of water in the desert. And the bliss that one gets from feeling the love that one experiences in bhakti is like an ocean in comparison. There's no comparison.
And the beautiful thing is Krishna gives us a little teaser, like a little, like you
Yeah.
watch a movie, you watch a trailer,
Yeah.
you get a little teaser of ecstasy. Sometimes it's through reading the Bhagavad Gita. Sometimes it's through meeting a devotee. Sometimes someone says, "Hey, cooking, and I've just took this offering off the altar," and they hand you a pakora, and you Yeah,
Yeah.
sometimes in the middle of a kirtan, you don't even know why. Last night I was just crying in the initiation. I don't know why I'm crying. Makes no material sense.
Yeah.
Why am I crying? You know,
This morning when you were doing your puja,
you cried.
I didn't cry.
Because I looked, you had like a little tear swelling in your eye.
No, but you were reading together in a small group. You were reading these prayers to Yamuna Dev, to the river in
Munadev,
Vrindavan,
daughter of Suryadev,
and
always purify me.
and it was a beautiful bhakti infused prayer
Hmm.
to Yamuna Devi. And I saw Kishori Gopi while you were all reading it together, and there was one stanza or whatever
Yeah.
mention of that. It says that there are all these beautiful cows on the banks of the Yamuna, and they're mooing, and that sound of the mooing is really beautiful. And when that was read, I saw her react to that.
Mm.
I saw like she kind of like lit up from that, and I could see she was feeling something, and because she was feeling it, I felt it.
Mm.
And that is that, yeah, just something for in bhakti, when you see everything in relation to Krishna, who is that reservoir of all happiness, then everything in relation to him can stimulate that kind of happiness. So even you just hear, oh, like if we were to see a beautiful cow of Goloka Vrindavan, that cow just visually would just be so beautiful and so satisfying to see. Like, it's like, even if we see some beautiful animal in this world, it's like, take that and then dial that up from like 1 to like 11, and it's like what one would feel in their heart by seeing that, the bliss that one feels just by seeing that cow.
Mm.
And when Kishori Gopi, when she responded that way, says, yes, you're right. It's like,
Mm. We're getting a little teaser, a little
a
taste.
little feeling.
Imagine if I had a
perfecting.
big jar of honey. You never had honey before, or let's say maple syrup, because all the Vermont people are here.
Okay.
And I just like dipped my little pinky in the maple syrup, just a little pinky.
Yeah.
And the Kaustubha, I just went quick, and I stuck my pinky in your mouth, and you'd be like, what?
Take that pinky out of me. But yes, I would taste.
And you say, I mean, we taste a little bit of maple syrup, a little bit of. You're like, oh, what was that? I was like, I got a huge tub over here.
I got it.
You want to go dive into the tub?
Yeah. Now you know. Now you know what's there is real.
Yeah, what's there is real. And Krishna on the regular gives us little drops. So this makes sometimes it's just this makes so much sense.
Yeah.
Because the world, no matter how much I try to figure out the material world, it makes no sense. Wait a second. You're saying if I just consume this, if I purchase this, if I get this, if I acquire this, if I fall in love with her or fall in love with him, if we pop out a couple kids, if we get the dog, then everything's going to be fine. This is what you're telling me because I've done that. The dog is practically dying. I feel more sad than, it's like.
I
But we'll say Radhanath Swami.
It's okay, right?
Radhanath Swami, he went out to Gus yesterday and gave Gus some special magic last night. Maharaj sat there with Gus. It was almost like time stood still. And Maharaj just chanted sweetly to that dog. And he's downloaded all Maharaj's love and bhakti. And last time Maharaj did that to the dog, it was it recharged him. So I'm very eager to see Gus.
For those that care about Gus, go to bringgus-to-the-Ganga.com.
We're trying to do a Gus GoFundMe. I can leave.
He can put his paw. He can die with his paws in the Ganga.
Oh, Kaustubha. You didn't have to go there.
No, that's a good thing.
Okay,
let's read Bhagavatam. Huh?
Narayanam namaskritya naram chaiva narottamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayam mudirayat. Before we start in the Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, which is our very means of conquest, one should offer respectful obeisances to the Supreme Lord Narayan, unto Narayan Rishi, the supermost human being, unto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and to Srila Vyasadeva, the author. Nasta Praesha Badreshu Nityam Bhagavat Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtaki. By regular attendance in classes on the Bhagavatam and by rendering service to the pure devotee, all that is troublesome to the heart will become eradicated, and loving service to the Supreme Lord, who is praised with transcendental songs, will be established as an irrevocable fact. Om Jnana Timarandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. I was born in the darkness of ignorance, and my teachers are opening my eyes. With the torchlight of knowledge, I offer my obeisances at their lotus feet. Reading from Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 3, Text 36.
36. Why don't you go ahead and read the other one because it tells about all the austerities of 34 and 35.
Okay, this is the austerities they perform. Listen to
So
this.
these are the first words from Krishna in Bhagavatam.
I know some of you have performed austerities out there,
Yes.
but have you ever performed these? My dear father and mother, you endured rain. You're like, well, I've done that.
Little bit.
Wind.
That's no big deal.
Strong sun. Are you kidding? I lived in the desert for 4 years. Scourging heat and severe cold.
And a little rougher.
Upstate New York. Okay. Suffering of all sorts of inconveniences according to different seasons. By practicing pranayama to control the air within the body through yoga. I have a yoga membership. And by eating only air and dry leaves fallen from trees.
Hold it right there.
Hold it. No, haven't done that. Although I have had dried basil on my pizza.
Kale chips.
Kale chip. You cleansed from your minds all dirty things. In this way, desiring a benediction from me, you worship me with peaceful minds.
Okay, now he's going to expand on this, right? You worship me with peaceful minds, right? All of this austere living and very simple living, very bare living, the simplicity in it had a purpose.
Sure.
And it was to facilitate their meditation on Krishna.
And this is why I love Bhakti, because I think, and maybe some of us too, if we were into healthy living, or if we were into spirituality, or if we were into vegetarianism or veganism, fasting, health, mindfulness, it was where was it going? What was the goal of it all? What's the goal of mindfulness? What's the goal of being healthy? What's the goal of doing yoga? Right? Is working out in yoga just so you look at my body and say, Raghunath, you're a good-looking specimen of a man?
I don't believe that's the reason.
Is that the goal? Is that why you would do yoga, Kaustubha?
It's not.
Okay, if I do yoga, will you look at me like that? No, I don't want that from you.
Okay.
I don't want that from
We
you.
got a deal.
Okay. What is the goal? Is it just to relieve shoulder and neck pain? Is it to make the mind peaceful? Okay, I got the mind peaceful. Now what? Is it to empty the mind of all thoughts?
That's just a neutral state. You can't even do it anyway.
I know. Can you empty the mind? Well, I did a retreat where we did it for 7 days and I stopped talking. Did you think you empty your mind? Sure. I'm sure a lot of stuff comes up. In all these purification methods, things come up. You learn something different. You open your eyes to different realities. But in Bhakti, whether it's yoga, an Ayurvedic cleanse, beautiful rituals, right? If you would look at Doyal doing that ritual last night, it was
So nice.
It was quite beautiful.
Yeah.
And then everybody dancing, everybody singing.
Yeah.
Very beautiful. Jai Jagannath, very beautiful voice.
Yeah.
Right? Radhanath Swami singing, very beautiful. People dancing, enjoy.
Nice dancing.
Nice dancing.
Last
Cooking a feast. What is the point of all this stuff? It's all got the same exact point. That's the interesting thing. It all brings you to, can I develop this affectionate love for sweet baby Krishna?
And you could feel it, and that's the ingredient that makes it all really sweet and beautiful. Okay.
Text 37 and 38. Oh, sinless.
No, text 36.
Text 36. You spend 12,000 celestial years performing difficult austerity of tapasya in consciousness of me.
That's the key right there, right? In consciousness of me.
Yeah. Not just the time, too.
He says here, evam vam tapasya tos tivram. Tivram means like you're doing intense tapasya. And then he says, tapa paramam dushkaram, very difficult tapasya. Right? So sometimes you see people, in India you can see it, right? In America, we're not so much into tapasya.
Right.
But there's an understanding that
This is a good thing.
It's noble. You get power from it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we don't get anything. Like we see the guy who's like walking around with his hand in the air for 14 years, and we're
Yeah.
like, what an idiot. No.
No,
This
he's
guy's
onto
got
something.
He's onto something. I'm not sure what he's onto,
Yeah.
but don't just make fun of him like he's a dum dum.
Yeah.
There's some substance behind
Well, yeah,
austerity.
the way that I understand, like why, like someone takes a vow and I'm going to hold my hand in the air for 15 years.
Now that there's the internet, you see things. Well,
Yeah.
you remember that guy in Vrindavan that used to just stand on one leg on the Prikram trail?
With hanging with the
Yeah,
tree
they
thing
gave
on
him a little swing so he could just like rest his arms on,
Yeah.
and he'd read. Maharaj, was that person there when you were there? The guy standing on one leg.
Many.
So many. He says Maharaj is saying so many people standing on one leg. I think there's an ashram outside of Mumbai where
A
everybody
swing out,
stands on one leg.
So, in any case, my understanding of like why you would, and even when they go to sleep, they kind of tie that arm up, and the arm starts to get like emaciated, and they get
Right.
long nails.
Long
And you
fingernails.
say, well, what are they doing? And my understanding of that is that the mind is telling us to do all these things to find comfort and to find pleasure. And so if I put my arm up in the air, it's in a short time, my mind says, put the arm down now. This is uncomfortable. All right.
And you're going to have to challenge your mind. You're going to have to
That's
see your mind as something different than you.
That's right. You're going to defy the mind's instructions. Like you've been telling me what to do all my life and who knows how many lifetimes. I'm in control now. I don't care how much you scream. I'm keeping the arm up in the air because I'm in control. Something like
It's
the
some type of how can I conquer the mind?
So these weren't ignorant people. These are people that had deeper insights into the mind and how it works, and they had experiments, and they had
And there's some payoff they're getting. There's some like personal payoff from conquering your mind.
they saw the mind as a laboratory, and they were doing experiments with it and seeing where it led.
I think there's easier ways to do that.
Well, certainly there are, and we're recommending that. But it could be potent, it could be powerful, and
Yeah.
they had the ability to try it, whereas most people couldn't endure it. But here, Krishna's saying you were like doing intense, difficult
austerities.
tapas. But he says it. Let's see the word that he uses. He says you did it, mad atmanaho. You did it.
Me.
You did it from your atma, from your very soul. You did it absorbed in me. Okay. 37 and 38.
O sinless Mother Devaki, after the expiry of 12,000 celestial years, in which you constantly contemplated me within the core of your heart with great faith, devotion, and austerity, I was very much satisfied with you.
Now, what do you think satisfied him? Was it the austerity?
It
was the austerity.
Yeah,
but it was
like-
because the austerity.
Yeah, it was the austerity with the focus on him in love.
Yeah.
It wasn't just austerity. That's
Someone could
that's
do all
attractive
those
in some sense.
Someone could
Like,
do all,
wow, that's pretty interesting. Look at this, walking around with one hand in the air.
but Krishna didn't come for Hiranyakashipu. Brahma came for him, right? It's like
Sure.
that kind of austerity wouldn't touch the heart of Krishna, but because it was done for him, it attracted him, and he said, "Now I've become your son." Right?
Yeah, austerity doesn't necessarily soften your heart, not by a long shot.
It can harden it.
It can harden your heart, and harden your heart from bhakti. I appeared
Since I am,
More point.
I was
Since
very much.
I am the best of all bestowers of benediction, I appeared in the same form as Krishna to ask you to take from me the benediction you desired. You then expressed your desire to have a son exactly like me. Now that's what you asked for. If God says, I'm here to give you a benediction, don't be like,
I think this is exactly what you would ask for, Raghunath.
I hope so.
I want you just in a little baby boy.
I'll be like,
I
yeah.
think that's the nature of your affection.
Or I'd be, yeah, yes.
Seemed like you got him right here.
Thinking of-
It's like,
yeah. Oh, Krishna.
All right.
Being husband and wife, but always sonless, you were attracted by sexual desires, for by the influence of Deva Maya, transcendental love, you wanted to have me as your son. Therefore, you never desired to be liberated from this material world.
So even their sexual desire was in relation to Krishna. Everything's tied in.
After you received that benediction and I disappeared, you engaged yourself in sex to have a son like me, and I fulfilled your desire. Since I found no one else as highly elevated as you in simplicity and other qualities of good character, I appeared in this world as Prishni Garbha, or one who is celebrated as having taken birth from Prishni.
Please continue.
Prishni must be a name of...
That was her name in the previous life.
Prishni Garbha, in the womb of Prishni. In the next millennium, I again appeared from the two of you who appeared as my mother, Aditi, and my father, Kashyapa. I was known as Upendra.
Upendra.
Right? And because of being a dwarf, I was also known as Vamana.
Okay, so he's giving them a whole history. Like this, he's zooming out for them.
You got a backstory? I got a backstory.
Yeah, and we've been doing it together for a long time, right? But here he's saying, I also took birth amongst the devas, right? This is when Krishna takes birth in the deva. The devas are always just waiting for Krishna to, oh, if only he could. They want him to appear. It's a little bit mixed, though, right?
It's like we're going through hell right now.
We need help. We need your help.
There's this problem. We got this problem.
And so and who was it that Aditi performed these? All her sons, all the devas were wiped out. They were running and hiding because Bali had become so powerful, right? We read about this in previous canto. And so she did this austerities, right? The Payovrata. And but thinking, praying to Vishnu, please come and please help my sons. And he was so touched by her that he said, actually what she prayed for was, please help my sons. And he said, not only am I going to help your sons, I'm going to come be your son and help them from that position. And he came as Vamanadev, or Upendra.
Oh, supremely chaste mother, I, the same personality, have now appeared of you both as your son for the third time. Take my words as truth.
Oh, what it must have been like to hear that. She must have been crying, huh?
Yeah. I have shown you this form of Vishnu just previous births. Otherwise, if I appeared like an ordinary human child, you would not believe that the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vishnu, has indeed appeared.
That's interesting, right? Like, why did Krishna appear as Vishnu first? You wanted them to understand. And there, if we were reading like in the previous verses, she's kind of going back and forth between your God, your son, and your
If
God,
you
you're my
just
son.
appeared as Krishna, maybe be like, son's a little dark. Okay, my son's got a peacock feather. Okay, yeah, it's understandable. He might have just got the feather.
Yeah.
Okay, my son's got kajal on his eyes. Okay, I could understand that. Yeah. No, you had to appear first as Lord Vishnu, floating in space in the dungeon.
And she's got this transcendentally irrational thing going on where she's like, you're Vishnu, and Kamsa wants to, if he knows that Vishnu was born, he's so against Vishnu, he may come and kill you. But if he sees you as an ordinary little child, maybe he'll spare you. And so she's like saying, so please appear as a little child. And he's saying, don't worry, I came and I showed you Vishnu like this so that you would understand who your son is. But soon,
again, we were saying yesterday, like in Cracker Jacks, you used to get those little toys, like you shift it one way and the guy's got a hat on, and you turn it the other way, he's lifting his hat off. It's like back and forth depending how you look at it.
How much time did you spend with that, right?
And the hours, like, oh, what a fascinating, what a gift I got. So in the same sense, now she's going back and forth. You're the Supreme Personality of Godhead. You're my adorable little child. But you're the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But my little baby. And just
And he's saying, I am the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and you and I have been doing this for several times over the course of
this ain't
time.
our first rodeo. Krishna.
Okay. 45, is it?
45. Both of you, husband and wife, constantly think of me as your son, but also know that I am the Supreme Personality of Godhead. By thus thinking of me constantly with love and affection, you will achieve the highest perfection, returning home back to Godhead.
Okay, so that was his message to the two of them. Now we go back to the sage Shukadeva Goswami.
Sukadeva Goswami said, after thus instructing his father and mother, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna remained silent. In their presence, by his internal energy, he then transformed himself into a small human child. In other words, he transformed himself into his original form. Krishna's tu Bhagavan Swayam.
Okay. That's the form. Prabhupada's putting that in. He's just adding that into the translation, but he's tying it back. It was the very open. Now we're deep, deep, deep into the Bhagavatam, right? We're in 10th canto.
Mhm.
But in the very first chapter, the first canto, the sages at Naimisharanya were asking Sutta Goswami, tell us what leads to the highest good for all mankind. Tell us what gives complete satisfaction of the self. And tell us about Krishna, too. We know he's very important to you. We can't quite put our finger on what the essence of all the Vedic literature is. We know it has something to do with him. And so, in answer to that question, he said that there's so many incarnations.
Mm.
God manifests in so many different ways, but Krishna's tu Bhagavan Swayam, but they all come from this original form.
Mm.
And that's the form that we now see for the first time here. Little baby Krishna. He was manifesting as Vishnu, but now we see that Krishna's tu Bhagavan Swayam, that original form from which all the other forms come.
Thereafter, exactly when Vasudeva, being inspired by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, was about to take the newborn child from the delivery room, Yogamaya, the Lord's spiritual energy, took birth as the daughter of the wife of Maharaj Nanda.
Okay. So Maharaj Nanda is?
Maharaj Nanda is Krishna's foster father, but he's married to Yashoda, and he lives across the river.
Yeah.
And they just gave birth to Yogamaya personified, who is Subhadra.
Krishna's feminine Shakti, right, is born over. They're connected. Nanda, he's kind of the head of the cowherd community. Vasudeva is, I guess, a prince, you would call him at that point, right? A prince
Marrying
in the
princess.
city, in the city of Mathura. Nanda lives out on the in the farmland on the other side of the river. And so now there's going to be the switcheroo.
Yes. Now, by the influence of Yogamaya, because there was, the idea was he was supposed to switch the children.
Yeah, switch them.
That was the spin. Just switch them. Happens a lot in the material world. And pick up the wrong baby. Here's your baby. In the old days when they used to just I think when the mother gives birth, they just lay out like 40 babies under like heat lamp.
They got those little,
like fluorescent, like Walmart heat lamp.
And mistakes could be made.
Yeah. Okay, here's your baby, Mr. Kaustubha. I was like, I didn't have a baby. Just handing out babies. You ever meet a person from a family and it's like,
I don't know if I was meant to be born in this family.
No, it's not only that, but sort of like you look nothing like your parents whatsoever.
It can happen.
It happens. It can happen.
But this was an intentional. And here, when we say this feminine Shakti of Krishna, it's very important to understand, right? That there is this energy that can manifest in different ways, and our awareness is deeply affected by this. So Yogamaya here she can facilitate Krishna's pastimes. She's an energy that can move things and move what people she can bewilder people or place people under illusion, but she's placing people under illusion for the fulfillment of Krishna's leelas. But then she also extends and manifests as Mahamaya, where she will bewilder you to play our little kind of more troublesome leela in this world. And so the Vaishnavas, the devotees of Krishna, recognizing that as Krishna's energy, they make their choice. Which energy is it that I want to take shelter of? Right, the divine energy.
Nice way to put it.
Yeah. What is it from Bhagavad Gita?
Davahyesha.
No. Well, that's definitely appropriate, right? That this material energy of mine is very difficult to overcome, but you can easily overcome it if you surrender unto me. But I was thinking of what is it? Mahatmanas tumam partha daivam prakritamashati. Right. The Mahatmas, the great souls. They take shelter of the Daivi Prakriti. They take shelter of the original, fully spiritual, bewildering energy. So that when you're bewildered, you're not thinking, I'm the center of the universe, or I'm going to find happiness through this material form. You're thinking, I'm Krishna's mother. I'm Krishna's lover. I'm Krishna's father. And that kind of bewilderment, even Krishna's happy to enter into that kind of thought for Leela.
Special K, we may want to pull back right now and see if Maharaj would like to share anything while the
it's like the greatest resources right here, and
the greatest resource of insight into Lord Krishna The origin of everything is sitting right next to us, and we're talking like Mr. Know-it-alls.
Yeah.
Maharaj, would you like to just share? We only have a
Just
few
last
minutes
couple
left. It would be such a great way to close up the show. You can share your insight into sweet baby Krishna.
He has passed the opportunity,
Okay, he's passed.
but we felt the blessing in any case.
Okay. 47.
7?
Okay, let's make this. Thereafter, exactly when Vasudeva, being inspired by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, was about to take the newborn child from the delivery room, Yogamaya, the Lord's spiritual energy, took birth as the daughter of the wife of Nanda Maharaj.
That's Yashoda.
So by the influence of Yogamaya, all the doorkeepers fell asleep. So Yogamaya was planning this entire, this spiritual, divine, feminine energy of the Lord was planning this. And what happened? Poof. She put the sleep potion on the guards. And then poof, she opened the shackles.
Uh-huh.
And poof, Vasudeva appeared to get this great idea. I'm going to take this baby and just walk across the river.
Yeah,
And then poof, the Yamuna River splits.
yeah,
It was like one Krishna magic after another.
it's all due to her influence.
Yeah. By the influence of Yogamaya, all the doorkeepers fell fast asleep. Their senses unable to work, and their other inhabitants of the house also fell deeply asleep. When the sun rises, the darkness automatically disappears. Similarly, when Vasudeva appeared, the doors closed, which were strongly pinned with iron and locked with iron chains.
No, the closed doors.
The closed doors, which were strongly pinned with iron and locked with iron chains, opened. Like sort of like a supermarket door that just like opens
Yeah.
when you walk up to, okay, it's opening by itself.
Be careful of the automatic doors.
Yeah. Since the clouds in the sky were mildly thundering and showering, Ananta Naga, an expansion of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, followed Vasudeva, beginning from the door with hoods expanded to protect Vasudeva and the transcendental child. So it's raining out.
Yeah.
Right?
No problem.
No problem. Ananta Shesh will appear with many hoods and act like a
There's a snake umbrella.
little snake umbrella.
Yeah.
Keep little baby dry. And you've seen this, a famous picture of Vasudeva carrying baby Krishna on his head in a basket, and there's a snake over the head.
You know, the great Vaishnavas that understand Leela deeply, they explain all these things. We saw that before Krishna was born, first Balaram was born,
Mm.
and Balaram is the servant, right? He's known as the original guru because his mood is to serve Krishna, and he demonstrates that first, right? And then also Yogamaya is born, and to get, Krishna, there are different types of avatars. And one type of avatar is a leela avatar, the avatar that comes to play. And Krishna's play is loving adventures, right? He experiences love through these adventures. And Yogamaya is facilitating those adventures, and Balaram is facilitating those adventures. And so here, when we say Ananta Shesh, that's a manifestation of Balaram. And so everyone is moving very happily and very blissfully serving Krishna to help manifest these leelas aren't ordinary, but they're the most exquisite and perfect expressions of divine love. And it's all starting to happen.
I think it's time to
think
invite
that's it.
Miss Mara back on. Mara, what have you learned from today's show? What notes
Any
of what are
takeaways?
takeaways that we can bring with us in the course of a day?
Yes, I got some good stuff today. Difficult things happen. We always have the option to lean into Krishna.
Yeah. 1 point, Raghunath. It's not a competition, but it always is.
All our suffering has the opportunity to become a great blessing.
All our suffering, yes. Beautiful.
Have a healthy cynicism of materialism.
Healthy cynicism.
Healthy cynicism.
Connect to the root to connect with everything.
I remember that.
Yeah, because you didn't say it.
Okay.
Our mindfulness should be a beautiful offering to Krishna.
Draws a complete blank. Okay, that's good though.
Bring more love and personalism into our life.
Yes.
The bliss of moksha is a drop compared to the ocean of bhakti.
Little drop.
Defy our mind's control through austerity.
Yes.
And
Okay, this is a big one, Mara.
The music queued up.
no, I see what I go through every day. And this isn't Krishna and Devaki's first rodeo.
That's right. Thanks everybody for joining us. Thanks everybody live. We got a good crew here live. Everybody. Say Haribo, hands up, everybody. We got beautiful people filling our home, filling our life from all parts of the world. And congratulations to all the initiates. Thanks everybody for joining us also on Zoom today. Spread this stuff around. If you know any of the initiates, you can reach out to them and give them some appreciation and some love. We're grateful for that. This program was held at the farm. Remember, we're going to do this live at the Govardhan Eco Village. This Govardhan Eco Village is our go-to place for peace, tranquility, and education. And so really looking forward to it this year. His Holiness Radhanath Swami and all of his team of ecstatic devotees there, hosting our wisdom training. If you're interested, go to our website, check that out, or our 200 and 300 hour yoga teacher training. And this year, of course, we're going to offer the Mridanga School and Harmonium School. And there is baby Ember, Connor, and Amanda. Good morning. Thanks to all the people that joined us late. Jai Sabhaja, Rini, Nitai Lieberman in Alachua, Dana K. Nitai Lieberman's back. Shubham Bakri, good to see you. Saraswati Ji, Siddhanta, we wish you were here, Siddhanta. We know you're in Iceland. He's watching live from Iceland. And Jamie Stepp, he was here yesterday. Good to see you. Ave Maria, she was here yesterday. You went back already? I thought you were still here, Ave Maria. I didn't get to say goodbye. Andy Williams. It is a beautiful day for a beautiful day. Let the magic continue to flow in Amaha Haribo.